What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quarter. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. Everybody's kind of lined up to do their, to take their victory laps, to take their free throw line dunks on the massive L that we all witnessed, that the world witnessed, between one Hollywood star and one random lady. And now Joe Rogan has issued a few statements. Now he's basically been on the side of JD the entire time, on the side of kind of truth, but he came out to kind of make a statement the other day, and the media's of course melting down about it. Anything, it's like anything Joe Rogan says, they immediately have a problem with it. That if he said the sky is blue, they'd say like, Joe Rogan's latest conspiracy theory about the sky is shocking. It's because he gets headlines. And before we get into all this, this channel wouldn't be what it is without amazing sponsors like Sheath. Check this out. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor. That's right, Sheath. These boxers are designed to keep your balls off your legs. Sheath has 3 individual compartments to keep everything down there separate and cool and comfortable. And hey, since they've been a long-time sponsor, I've heard from many of you who have tried out Sheath and really love it. They were invented by a U.S. Army soldier who came up with the idea for Sheath during his second tour in Iraq, where it was hot as heck and his boys needed to breathe. And on top of all sorts of awesome designs for Sheath, they've added all sorts of winter items, hoodies, gator necks, and all sorts of base layers. Head on over to the link in the description and pinned comment down below. Use my promo code to save and support the channel and keep everything nice, cool, and dry. Yeah, I know it's a weird thing to be thinking about, hey, I'm going to try some new underwear today, but they've been a really strong company, very, very highly reviewed, and most people that try it out stick with them and really love them. Now, Joe Rogan says the verdict is good for all people who, quote, believe the truth. Of course it was good. They vanished into the virtual void. Eagle-eyed fans have pointed out that dozens of... Oh, whoops. Wrong one. We'll get to that. Joe Rogan has weighed in on JD's victory following their defamation trial, calling the verdict good for all people who believe in the truth. JD, who's 58, filed a $50 million lawsuit against his ex, 36, over a 2018 op-ed. We all know the story. Following a 6-week trial, the jury on June 1st awarded JD $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive. The judge adjusted the punitive damage to $350,000 as Virginia law limits punitive damages. The ex, who had countersued for $100 million, was awarded just $2 by the jury, which found that his former attorney, Adam Wallman, had made defamatory comments about her, which is like, that's not even something he did. I was on a panel with Popcorn Planet yesterday asking, why is that his fault? Well, I guess just because the attorney was working for him, and I guess JD controls every word that comes out of his mouth. I don't know. Now, with the dust settling from the high-profile dispute, Rogan shared his take on the matter during an appearance on YouTube show comedians Andrew Schulz and Akash Singh, Flagrant, very popular podcast. Akash Singh, I don't know how to say it, but I know the show's popular, so no disrespect. Quote, there are a lot of guys who wanted to win one of these things. There's a lot of guys who wanted to win one of these things, but it's just not good to not be honest. And if you're doing that, and you're doing it to try to hurt somebody, like if you're purposely changing reality, you're lying about what happened just to try and hurt somebody, you're doing an effed up thing. The TV personality and podcasts are continued because you're pretending that you're a victim. And it's not as simple as you're just lying. You're turning someone into a criminal. You're pretending to be a victim. And if it's all not true, it truly is a really bad thing. It's really bad. It's just bad for all of us. Following the verdict, she said in a statement about her being disappointed, blah, 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 blah. I'm even more disappointed with the verdict because it means for other women. It's a setback, blah, 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 blah. With many having reiterated her stance to the effect the verdict may go down, and the video may go on to have. Rogan said in his appearance on the show, quote, "Someone said that the verdict is bad for women." Like, I'm like, that's crazy. It's just not good to do stuff like that, to pretend some guy put his hands on you. When asked if he believed that every claim made against him was untrue, Joe said, "You know, you watch the trial, you form your own opinions. Unless you're there, unless there's some direct evidence other than the evidence of like these conversations that they had that they were both recording," which is wild. I agree too. Shortly out, I mean, it was this like weird thing. It is like, why? Like, you two are like, you're together, but you're recording each other all the time. It's like you're building your lawsuit. That seems so toxic. Shortly after it started, he had chimed in the proceedings on a different podcast where he said, "I'm watching this trial like a cautionary tale about believing BS, like forming a narrative in your head. We're rebels together," Rogan told comedian Jessica Kirson. And you're seeing it all play out in court, and you're seeing all the crazy come out. JD talking about her leaving a grumpy in the bed. Yeah, that's great. That's a real problem. Hard to forget. Broadcaster Rogan went on to far to say that she was full of S, as he also questioned her mental health. He then drew up Newsweek April article about JD testifying about the grumpy, of course, which is hilarious. You know, it's an interesting comment, and you know, one of the replies on that thread is said, you know, let's not turn this into a he said she said thing. It's a what happened and what didn't happen. And I think that's actually a really good distinction to make, because you know, one of the things happened and the other thing was a lie. It wasn't a he said she said about like kind of this, you know, oh, you said you paid the bill, I paid the bill, no, you paid the bill. No. Either he did those things or he did not, and he clearly did not. And this, by the way, picking up even more W's as his victory lap continues. JD's Dior fragrance ad airs on prime time 1 week after the trial verdict. His ad for Dior Sauvage, I don't wear cologne, aired in prime time on Fox Wednesday night during a MasterChef commercial break. One of the actor's ads for the cologne hit primetime Wednesday night. The ad, which they posted last September on YouTube, sees him in a, I don't really care what he's wearing and whatever he's selling. I don't know, is Dior just, I don't know, it's some, all those commercials are always weird. But it's still a nice W for him. And the seething. There's this Stanford Law Professor went after Camila Vasquez, calling her the absolute worst. Stanford Professor Michelle Dauber has been a vocal supporter of AH. Okay, but why does that mean you need to go after Camila Vasquez, who, by the way, just made partner the other day? So, you know, it's the interesting, the backlash to her post criticizing Vasquez was swift. Good grief, Stanford is in trouble. What an outlook on life, one Twitter user wrote. An account titled Fair Lilith asked, "Please do explain to me how being a woman undermines my identity as a lawyer." Another response called her jealous and said it wasn't a good look to cut down minority women. Vasquez, 37, was praised for her tightly controlled cross-examination of AH, grilling her on inconsistencies in her testimony. She also delivered part of the opening and closing statements. The young attorney's performance at the Fairfax County Circuit Court won her a promotion to partner at her law firm. Now, I don't know this woman at Stanford. Her relationship goes back at least 6 years. She was photographed with her. Oh, that's interesting. She calls JD's supporters demented ghouls and blasted them for trolling her and setting up fake Twitter account. You know, yeah, of her deceased daughter. That's kind of messed up. That is messed up. Not okay. But this person, like, this, don't you have a class to teach? I'm curious what this woman teaches. And by the way, every little thing she posts is getting ratioed into oblivion. I covered this person the other day, and it's like, she can't just take the L. Of course, she's a J6 kangaroo court maniac. But like, I mean, everything. everything in here. And she's even like, oh, somebody else has a popular thread about this, and then gets ratioed into oblivion. I mean, it's great. Like, Professor Mailbag JD's Fan Edition. Wow, how pathetic are you? Just another it's time for you, people like you, to GTFO of this country. Well, it's not really I mean, that's, I don't, out of this country. Is she like an immigrant? She doesn't look like an immigrant. I don't know. I guess, what does an immigrant look like? Okay, I get it. Wait, I don't know. I don't even understand. I mean, yeah, she could leave the country. That'd be great. She's awful. And let her job at Stanford go to somebody who isn't an internet-obsessed lunatic. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out Sheath. Pick up a pair today. Try them out. You've got literally nothing to lose and a ton to gain. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.